Hello everybody, God bless you. Today I have a short story for you all. And I experienced what this guy on YouTube was preaching about, like right afterwards almost. So he's preaching and talking about how, somebody of God or somebody wants their enemy destroyed. They did this, they did that. What they did was wrong. God destroy them. They betrayed me. They stole money from me. They killed that person. God destroy them. Ruin their life. Get rid of them. You know what I mean? They did something I absolutely despise. They've rebelled against you, Lord. Destroy them. And he was talking about that, and he gave an example in the Bible. And I think it was Jonah had wanted a certain city or a certain group of people destroyed because they were unrighteous or something like that. Right? And he was talking about that, and he's like, well, God's favor was still upon them. You know what I mean? Even though that the person of God saw their rebellion, saw their deeds of darkness, I guess you could say, God still restored those people. God did not destroy those people. He restored them, and those people came to him and no longer rebelled, but respected the Lord. You know what I mean? And right after he had preached that, kind of like, doesn't matter how much you hate your enemies. The word says to love your enemies, right? And I experienced a bit of that. So I was at Lowe's for Black Friday, first time I'd ever done something like this. Got off of work at 4 a.m., was in line by 4:30 at Lowe's. It didn't open up until 6 a.m. And they're doing this thing to where the first 50 people in line, whenever they open the doors, get a bucket with the free bucket with $100 worth of stuff in it and a drill set. I got it with me right here. Little bucket, some little trinky dinks inside and stuff, and this little like drill bit set for a cobalt. I think that's how they get you. I'm gonna buy one of those now because I don't have to pay for all this stuff anymore. Nonetheless, that's still a blessing. But that was the whole ordeal. So people were going to show up and be in line for this. Now, one out of those 50 buckets had another thing inside that would give you $2,000 worth of store credit at Lowe's to buy one appliance. And that's why I showed up, because I needed a washer and dryer. I'm like, $2,000, that'll cover it perfectly. I'll just find a little washer and dryer that's like over under, so it's one appliance still, and I have both my needs met. I'm sitting in line. I was like, man, I just looked up a video, like was just watching videos of people, staying up and being in line outside the store for like a midnight release of a game, or, the opening of Walmart to go get some Pokemon cards and stuff. Like, I just watched a video about that. It must be, God's plan for me to be here. I must be the one to win, right? So I'm sitting there in line, and I'm 23rd in line. Like I said, I've been in line since 4:30. Everybody's lined up. We're almost reaching 50 people in the line. And this guy shows up around like 5:20, 5:30 a.m. or so. The store opens at 6. Other people's been there since 3 a.m. Shows up, and he skips the line and goes stands by his friends. And a lot of people took notice of that. I noticed it pretty much instantly, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, man, that's not right. That would really suck. Like, if you were originally the 50th person in line, the last person to get a bucket, and then he shows up and makes you the 51st person, I was like, man, that would suck. I'd be furious. And the guy behind me is like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna lose my ish. This, and that. He's like, dude, I would, and he's like kind of like preparing himself to freak out if something happens, And when the kid that skipped the line and went with his friends and stuff, you could tell he was a younger kid. And but he got a ticket as well to get a bucket whenever the store opened at 6 a.m. And a lot of people frown upon skipping the line, and I could feel this bit of like anger wanting to kind of rise up in me, tempt me to be angry and curse and this and that. And but it never got to that point. I just kept on thinking about it and kept on like making jokes about it with the guy behind me. Not to discredit the man that skipped, but to say like, man, that would really suck if this happened because he skipped or whatever. You know what I mean? And so they start handing out the buckets based off of your number and all that stuff. And like we're behind him whenever he's getting his bucket. And like the whole time leading up, like each person would go and he'd get closer and closer. I'm thinking to myself, even whenever I saw him outside, I was thinking to myself like, man, he's gonna win. You know, that's gonna be the one to get the $2,000. And so I'm joking about that with the guy behind me. I'm like, man, wouldn't it be crazy if he won? He's like, dude, I would lose it, bro. I'm gonna lose it, and all this stuff. And we just keep on cracking jokes here and there, not even necessarily just about that, but just trying to lighten the mood, because you can tell there's some tension. And it comes to him in line, and he opens up his bucket, all the confetti goes off, and he wins. The guy that skipped the line, he wins the $2,000 and stuff. And my initial reaction is like, I'm disappointed, I feel wronged, you know what I mean? And then I thought about that video that I had watched where the guy was preaching about how, you know, to love your enemies and stuff like that. And even though he's not necessarily my enemy, I still like, and at the moment in time, I felt wrong, was thinking about how other people in line might feel wronged. And they did. This guy, a couple further down in the line behind us, he had came up from behind us and went go talk to the guy that was handing them the buckets and taking the pictures and stuff of whoever won. And he was complaining. He's like, yeah, that guy skipped and this and that. And then right then and there, I should have I kind of saw it sooner, but I definitely, like, this is whenever it clicked for me. The guy that was complaining, you know, like I said, he was saying like, oh, he skipped the line, he shouldn't get it. You know, the lady behind him should get it because she didn't skip and all this stuff. And the guy that was kind of like in charge of the thing, you know, taking pictures of whoever got the $2,000 prize, I heard him say this. He says, look, man, it was gonna be random either way. And right then and there, I was like, that had to be, that's God's favor. That was God's favor right there. You know, even though to all of us in the line, we felt like we were done wrong and all this stuff, and really hated that guy that skipped got the prize. And then like it turned from that to like, man, look how good God is. And it kind of like, I just kept on thinking about it, and I heard this in my head. I heard, God's favor isn't fair. You know, and the more I considered that, I'm like, man, that's really true. There's a lot of things and places in my life that, you know, I didn't deserve to get, you know what I mean, or somebody else is more qualified. And I feel like in some areas in my life where God has gifted me these things that He's gifted me, I feel like I metaphorically skipped the line in that sense, and He still showed me favor. And that's exactly what happened for that kid. And it turned from me being like kind of upset and annoyed and stuff to like, now it's a situation where I'm glorifying God. Now it's a situation where I'm like, I'm thinking and considering that kid's circumstances and, you know, God's favor upon him in that situation. I'm like, man, you know, no telling what that guy's going through. Maybe he's living by himself, a young parent or something. Or maybe his mom needs it or something like that. Whatever the case may be, I'm just running through all these scenarios in my head, and I'm just like, man, thank you, God, for showing me that. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to, I guess, love my enemy in that scenario, you know, and to not wish harm upon them. God showed me a real life example of what the guy was preaching about on the YouTube video I had watched prior to coming to this little Black Friday event. I just wanted to kind of share that with y'all because maybe y'all might experience something like that kind of soon, and you don't want to lash out in your anger and then, you know, look at God like, why'd you let that happen type of thing, because God's favor is not fair. So God bless you. You have a wonderful day. Jesus is coming soon. Peace.